I'm happy to meet Bertrand Loubieres. You are from BNP, asset management and responsible for alternatives and especially for infrastructure. Is this correct?
It is correct. I run the infrastructure debt investment strategy with a focus on Europe and in particular decarbonization, digitalization, adaptation, and everything that pertains to investing into European sovereignty.
And you just finished your presentation on the AIC. Maybe you can have a sort of summary from you. What are your thoughts and what are your implications to this market?
So the presentation this morning was about the opportunities to invest in Europe, and what we presented was a very strong case for Europe. It's 27 countries and plus the UK in 28. Every single subsector is available: transportation, digital, renewable energy. You can invest in all of these subsectors in Europe. I think we have some very long-term supporting trends, which are very conducive of a sound investment environment. What we presented is also the fact that the asset class provides some protection against inflation. Revenues, typically, of the companies we finance are inflation-linked. When you invest in infrastructure debt, typically it is on the floating rate basis, and that also provides you with a degree of proxy hedge against inflation. So you've got this. You've got also the fact that the investments or infrastructure debt typically is decorrelated from other asset classes, and more importantly, other alternative investment classes. So it makes it a very compelling argument for investors to build a portfolio of alternative investments incorporating infra debt. And we believe that nowadays we're talking about asset-based finance, that infrastructure should form a core of the investments for institutional investors.
Bertrand, you have presented some current transactions in the pipeline. Maybe you can share that with our audience.
Recently, we financed a portfolio of solar plants in Spain. But the interesting thing was we're financing the installations of batteries attached to the solar panels. That enables us to, when there's overproduction, the batteries will suck up the power, and then when there's no production, it will release the power over time, particularly overnight. So what it does is, for the projects, it de-risks the revenues because you have smoother cash flows. You are also avoiding negative pricing. So therefore, for us as lender, we find that it reinforces the credit quality. We've made some investments into digital infrastructure, financing some very large fiber optic companies, again in Spain, where two incumbents merged their infrastructure and their customer base. So therefore, from day one, you've got a very strong company with a significant amount of EBITDA generation. But more importantly, we can see over the next 10, 15, 20 years how the revenues are going to pan out. In Germany, we've made an investment in the holding company or the midco of a very large portfolio of telecom towers. They are affiliated with DT, of course, a very strong credit. We really like mobile towers as a credit because they're very stable, because they are an essential infrastructure, particularly nowadays when you can't live without your mobile phone.
It's a big market, it's a large market. What is your expectation if somebody plans to invest in infrastructure?
I think the market offers many opportunities, many more opportunities than 10 years ago. Now you can invest in more core defensive credits. You can invest into maybe things that are a bit more yieldy, like junior debt. So therefore, the market has become a bit more specialized. You've got some very good asset managers which are operating. I think the investment case is getting stronger and stronger. I think it's a market where banks and institutional investors have learned to work together. And I've got great expectations going forward.
Maybe the last question, BNP is a big player in this market?
It is a big player in the market. We're now, thanks to the merger with AXA IM, we've become the largest alternative investment manager in Europe. And infrastructure represents about 10% of the AUM, standing at about 30 billion with all the strategies that we're running.
Thank you.
Thank you.